Hello Math 305 students. You have a new assignment ready for you, and in this lecture I'm going to give you some guidance about your account, that particular assignment, and how you should approach all exercises and readings that I give you. So first, let me remind you how to log in. You go to https://jupyterhub.csueastbay.edu. You log in as I'm doing now. So remember that all your assignments will be here, and if I've given you assignment, you fetch it here. I've already fetched it in this account, and you complete the assignment by clicking on the notebook as I'm doing right now. And here it is. And this assignment has quite a bit of reading. And then the exercises come at the end. I also want to tell you that you're going to see, you should at least see primitive data types and secondary data structures in your account. I populated your account with this file, the primitive data types, and you should have uploaded yourself this file. You don't necessarily have to have any of these other files. However, notice that you will also have A1 and A2. Those are your assignments. And if I click on A2, you'll see I have the functions and scope. That's not how you should complete this worksheet. You should always do what I just did, which was, again, to go to assignments, click on A2, and you open it up like this and complete it. Alright, let me pause here to say that even though we're doing a lot of work on the computer, you should have a notebook for this class, and you should be taking handwritten notes as you read through the material and as you watch the videos for the class, as well as when we have lecture on Zoom. This is because you will be learning math and, more importantly, learning a way to think logically so that you can use your computational tools effectively. So you're going to be exercising your logic skills quite a lot in this class. And that is often facilitated with just paper and pencil. So first of all, I want you to understand that this assignment is, when you click on it via the Assignments tab, this assignment is for your final answers only. But I highly recommend that you do scrap work before you submit the final answer. Remember, most mathematical and computational material is not contradictory to popular belief, something that you look at and should immediately understand or know the answer to. Contrary to popular belief, math is something you need to chew on, summarize to yourself, conjecture, test, fail, conjecture, test, fail, etc., until you do understand what's going on. So you should expect to be initially confused, expect having to think for a long time about something, expect to give yourself concrete examples of abstract statements, and also to make abstractions out of concrete examples. This is all to say that you shouldn't expect to immediately understand and be able to do the exercises. So when you're reading through this, don't expect to be going through it quickly. You might spend a half hour just trying to understand this little block, and that is normal and necessary in order to be able to absorb difficult material. So, having said that, let me show you how to make a scratch version of this homework so that you can reserve this work this final copy that you will submit for only your final answers. So let me get out of this, and I'm going to go to Files. So again, this is your home directory. Under assignment 2 is this assignment, and I'm just going to click on it and duplicate it. Yes, I want to duplicate it, and I'm going to give it a name that makes it very clear to me that this is scratch work. Okay, so I suggest that you work on this actually, and you can also simultaneously keep this tab open so that you can work on the final submitted version, the final version which you'll submit at the same time. So you do your scratch work here, and then you put your final answer here. So now that you're on the scratch work file, you shouldn't be afraid you're going to mess anything up, because this is not the version that you're going to submit to me. So just a few notes. Notice, I'll go to the first sort of executable block. I can run the cell. Okay, I'm going to run this cell. You see it ran because it has that 1. It means that was the first computation in this worksheet. And then let me run this cell, run cell. But note that I can't actually write in this cell. So these are execute only cells. Okay, in fact, the only cells in which you can write in this worksheet are where it says your answer here. Okay, that's just something to know. However, what you can do is create new cells. So wherever I am, say I'm here, I can insert a cell below, and then I can, let's say, copy and paste this, and say you want to convert 15 degrees to radians. You can do that. So you can, and I highly suggest that you do this, while you're reading, insert cells where you can do your own computations. So let's go to the exercises really quickly, because I want to show you a little bit about how you can test your solutions. So this exercise is for you to write a function, and it's called logic check, that takes 2 inputs, A and B, and yields true if either of the arguments to the function are true. And your answer goes here. So you can actually just leave that. And then this is, note that this is not the right answer, but it's something that I'm going to try. So I'm going to say if A is true, the function should return true. Obviously this is not the right answer, right? Because first of all, it doesn't do any test on B. And as I have told you already, you can ignore this. It just raises some kind of warning flag if you don't put anything in here. Or if something, it checks if certain things go wrong with your function. Now, I have a bunch of these ignore cells. These are cells that I have to grade your assignment and also to make comments to you. So don't do anything to them. But what you can do is put a cell beneath this cell or beneath this cell. Let's put a cell beneath this one. Insert cell below. And you can test. So here I've got something. Now I can make a test. I can call the function. And let's say I call it on true, false. Okay. Let me execute. Oh. So first of all, whenever you see this name is not defined, that means I didn't actually execute this this function. And note that I got a syntax error. That's because I didn't use the colon, which is what you need to use it whenever there's like an if statement. So let me run this cell again. Run cell. Now it doesn't give me a syntax error because I put the colon there. And let me run this cell. So because the input to A was true, it returned true. Okay, and now let me check, say false, true. What should the function give me? It should give true. But it didn't. It raised a not implemented error because A was not true, there was no way to close this function. It didn't return anything. And functions need to return, either return nothing or return a value. But this one didn't return anything because it only checked for this case. And this case was false. This case didn't hold. So it went through this and it asked, is A true? And A was not true because we put false. So then it raised the not implemented error, which is exactly correct because this is not a complete function. So my hint to you for this problem is you could continue with this if B equals true, return true. That's one way to continue. There are even more concise ways to write this. There are actually many correct solutions to this problem. But I will tell you that this is also not correct. But it does solve this particular problem as I just showed you. So after I have worked through this assignment, given myself a lot of time to understand the reading, and also, as I said, creating new cells so that I can test the instructions and the guidance from the reading. So here I had an example, and here I'm just extending that example. Oh, okay, this is how I get help, and this is the documentation I get when I give myself an example. So after I've really gone through this reading, given myself examples, tried all of the exercises and did my best on all of them, on my Scratch work, I transfer those correct answers to my assignment that will be submitted. Okay, so suppose I have done that now. I filled it in here in the original assignment. I'm going to leave this page, and I'm going to, and this is very important, I'm going to delete Scratch work from my files. Now, you don't have to delete it. I'll show you what you can do if you really want to keep it, but this is how you delete it. You click select, and then here's the trash can, and that's it. If you really want to keep it, what you should do is move it somewhere, but definitely do not keep it in this homework folder. Okay, so if you want to keep this, what I suggest you do is open up a terminal and find that file. So where is that file? It's in A2. So you click MV, which is move, A2, scratch work, and you want to move it to the current directory. So if you ls, you'll see that scratch work is here. And you can name it anything you want. I don't care what name you give it. So let's go back here in A2 and notice it's disappeared. So the only thing that should be under A2 is this one worksheet. I hope that you learn a lot from this particular homework. It's about something very important, functions. And I will say that the next topic, scope, also known as name scope, also known as scope, is very important. However, I'm not going to be asking you too many questions about it because the problem of variable scope, or the issue, really goes away if you just make sure to give everything unique names. So for example, just don't use x2 outside a function and inside a function, because it can be confusing if you're writing a little program which x2 you're referring to. So name this something like x1. Having said that, when you get into very large programs, which you won't be doing in this class, but some of you might go on to do more computation, this variable scope, also known as name scope or scope, is very important because it's very hard sometimes to use different names for different things, and sometimes you want to use the same name, but not so much in this class. Alrighty, everybody, good luck. I'm looking forward to seeing your questions. Remember, there are no dumb questions. However, there are unprepared questions. Unprepared questions are something like, I don't understand anything. So you have to be, pretty specific about your questions. I want to know that you tried to read through everything carefully. Very specific questions really give me a sense that you've read the material and you've struggled with it. And you've given yourself examples. So good luck, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in my next class.